There's a brand new Spider-Man movie about to hit theaters.
You a cop? You seriously think I'm a cop in a skin-tight red and blue suit?
But what makes it stand out from the last series? We're breaking down the big differences, including Spider-Man's girlfriend and the new villain in this week's episode of The Buzz. Hi, I'm Shannon Vestal.
I'm Becky Kirsch, and we're the editors of BuzzSugar.
Becky, you recently got to see an early screening of The Amazing Spider-Man, and you got to talk to the cast, which we'll be looking at later. You're a huge fan of the original Tobey Maguire series, so I want to know what makes this new?
Well, the biggest thing to know about this movie is that it's not a prequel, it's not a sequel, it's actually not related to the Tobey Maguire movies at all. It is a reboot, which means they have the same characters or similar characters, but an all-new cast. So you still have Peter Parker, of course, and this time we've got Andrew Garfield. We have a new love interest. Now we have Emma Stone playing Gwen Stacy instead of Mary Jane. New villains, new everything.
Okay, so you mentioned our new Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield. I want to know, what does he bring to the table that's unique?
What doesn't he bring to the table? I think the biggest difference, or the most important difference here, is that Peter Parker stays in high school throughout this entire movie. He doesn't move on and go to New York City or anything like that. And that kind of allows him to be a little more of a broody Spider-Man. He's got a lot of that teenage angst. He's a little more sarcastic, which is fun to see.
You found my weakness. It's small knives.
And he's more of a hipster outcast than a complete nerd. I mean, he's still very smart, but he's not as sensitive, dorky as Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
Okay, so I like an edgier Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield's pretty cute, right?
Pretty cute, not too bad.
And so you talked to the cast about what they thought of Andrew, so what did they have to say?
Well, they all agree that he's a perfect Peter Parker, largely in part because he's such a big Spider-Man fan himself. Like, from the crib, he has been obsessed with this character. So let's take a look at what they had to say. What do you think it is about Andrew that makes him the perfect Spider-Man?
I just think that he's such an unbelievable actor.
He's an extraordinary talent.
Andrew was really playing the sort of a tortured soul.
When he falls in love for the first time, you genuinely believe that it's the first time.
It was really, truly an astonishing performance.
You could ask him literally anything, and he would be able to answer you as Peter.
The kid's the real deal.
He could be the perfect anything. Anything that he decided that's for him, that's what he wants to do.
It was incredibly inspiring to work with someone like that.
We saw Emma Stone, the love interest, talking there about Andrew. So I'd like to know, how does the relationship between Peter and Gwen Stacy compare to the one that we already saw of Peter and Mary Jane?
Well, perhaps the most exciting difference about this movie is that Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy are really together in this movie. It's less pining away, unrequited love, and more, you see the ups and downs of their relationship. And they're in high school, so it's kind of a very sweet but pretty awkward, relatable romance. And I think we all kind of remember what it's like to have your first love.
I'm in trouble. Do they have good chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're together in real life.
But is there any hot kiss that stacks up to that Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst kiss in the rain?
I mean, I think it's going to be hard to compete with the upside down iconic kiss, but they do have a very sweet first kiss.
All right, so of course every good comic book movie has its villain, and this time around we have the Lizard, played by Rhys Ifans. So how does he stack up to other Spider-Man villains like the Green Goblin?
Well, I mean, I think all the villains have been pretty different, but the big difference here is that Kurt Connors, who is the alter ego of the Lizard, had a very close relationship with Peter Parker's father, who disappeared, so he's kind of looking for more information about his father, so that kind of was what brings him and Kurt Connors together. But he's also more of a sympathetic villain, which is interesting.
Is he scary?
He's pretty scary.
We've talked about what's new about The Amazing Spider-Man, so I want to know, do you think that this could launch its own series?
I do. I think when you have a reboot, what's most important is that the actors can recreate the characters in a way that audiences still want to see, and I think they really achieved that here. Andrew Garfield is great, and Emma Stone is really interesting to watch as well, so I would love to see them in more movies.
You can check out The Amazing Spider-Man for yourself when it swings into theaters on July 3rd. I'm Shannon Vestal.
I'm Becky Kirsch, and thanks for watching The Buzz.